Hey listeners, as you can probably tell, we've been a bit quiet recently with our episode releases as we're currently onboarding team members and just getting a little bit more busy with fall classes. So going forward, we are going to transition this monthly Musings episodes to more of a quarterly basis. We'll call it quarterly croppings or whatever other clever alliteration Paulina or our team can think of. But don't worry, more interviews with current students and faculty at Haas are on the way. And without further ado, here's the monthly musings for the month of October. Thanks for joining us on your last edition of Monthly Musings.
I have such FOMO. Honestly, every time I see Slack, like after I told you guys, I recorded a couple of podcast episodes and I enjoyed them so much that I was like, oh, I'm going to miss this.
You can always come back in the future. So this isn't like you leave and we take all your keys, we change the locks and we move.
Definitely not changing the locks.
You know where to find us.
Yeah.
No, I'll come back sometime. Start at the bottom again and rise.
Give you some script training, some associate producer editing or training.
Yeah, so for our listeners, what we're talking about is Aravind, one of our hosts and our good friend. He's going to take a step back from the podcast and do some other things with his time. So this is going to be our last monthly musings with him. And then I think we got a lot going on too. So we'll share a little bit about that in the episode today as well.
Aravind, why don't you kick off? You mentioned some exciting last podcast interviews.
A couple of things that I was working on was trying to interview international students and interviewing the leaders of student clubs. So as part of those two series, I did a few interviews, which I really enjoyed. Last week, I interviewed Michelle Poon, who is the president of the Education Club, and she started her career in education, and then she was a product manager, and then she's back in doing some nonprofit work, and she does a lot of work related to education and careers in education at Haas. Mm-hmm. So that was a lot of fun talking to her. The other person that I talked to was Mariam Malikaj, who has actually spent some time in Syria, and it was a lot of fun talking to her about what being in Syria is like, what it means to be a woman there, and how has it shaped her life. So that was a really interesting conversation that I had.
Yeah, that will be maybe one of your ultimate last episodes.
Yeah.
So Paulina, what about you? How was your month?
How was my month? How is it October? I'm confused. Where did 2020 go? I think I get on and say that every single time. This month, we've really expanded our team. So though we are losing Aravind, we've expanded and added a whole bunch of people, which I'm excited for. And we basically put together a new onboarding process, a new training program. So I'm excited. We did the calculation and, each episode is at least 10 hours of work, if not more. And so having that every week, and lately we've published, 2 episodes a week, so 20 hours a week plus is a bit unsustainable for, 2-3 people. So I'm excited to have a new team, fresh new ideas, fresh people to hear all of our old jokes. So that's always good. But no, it should be a lot of fun. I honestly can't believe that we have 2 months left this year. And really that means, I don't know, probably less than 8 weeks, 7 weeks left in the quarter, in the semester. So lots to get done for the rest of this year. I know we're just supposed to be talking about, September, October, but it's been a lot going on. So that's exciting. And then I think we've also talked about as a team moving our monthly musings to more quarterly, but we'll see. We'll see how often you get a behind the scenes look for anyone that's listening to this.
I know one person who listens to our podcast like every single episode, and that's my mom.
Aww.
Yeah, and she listens to like every single episode, even the ones that you guys do, and she gives me feedback. And when I talk to her, and she's like, I love learning about like your life at Haas and how things are, and she's like, it also helps me understand English better so I can talk to Michaela more.
Oh, that's so sweet. I don't think my parents even listen to the podcast. Like, I don't think they know how to like find it or download it. So that's really cute.
Yeah. My parents don't use Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Stitcher.
Yeah. Shout out to Mommy Donna.
Yeah. There you go. You had to get that joke in, huh?
I did. A+ fan. Can you ask her to leave a rating and review?
Actually, I'm going to do that. She'll definitely do it.
Yeah. Definitely 5 stars. Hopefully a couple sentences.
Yeah.
I love it. Ray, how was your month?
Oh, wow. We're going to transition down to my month. Man, what a downer. I'm kidding. Had a great month, actually. I think we were talking about September, in which I interviewed 3 folks as part of our series with club presidents and VPs. And I actually met up with one of them, Nick Bellamy, who is the cannabis club president. Funny enough, we on Friday went to a dispensary. I was thinking more along the lines of him giving me some tips on physical products, but the way they sold their products was all over the screen, partly due to COVID, probably. In any case, the tips he gave during the podcast, just, information on cannabis was displayed in a real life manner. So I kind of appreciated that. I also interviewed in September Stephen Brisley, who is the president of the Berkeley Energy Association. And that was also a cool interview. Just learned a lot about careers and energy. And I think that's one of the things that I've enjoyed in my interviews with these presidents is just some of the careers, some of the functions in these careers or in these industry sectors that you just wouldn't really think of. So I think in energy, you have everything from, I guess, business development to operations to sales and marketing jobs. And you just don't really think of that when you think of sustainability, right? It's not just social impact. It's a whole host of other roles. And then lastly, I think we released an episode recently with Anna Alanis, who is the president of the Haas Marketing Club. And that was just a really fascinating conversation. Talked about her internship at Clorox and her path from Mexico to Haas. Oh, and actually, there is one other one that we haven't released. I'm just thinking, Daniel Pushkin, who is president of the Data Science Club, coming to us all the way from Russia and touring the country during COVID. So that was akin to kind of what Aravind's doing. So anyway, that's my rundown.
I had to go back and look at my schedule. I didn't do any interviews in September. You guys are killing it. I have some scheduled for October, so
Yeah.
Don't worry.
But you have been working with the Class of 23 series.
In theory. You want the uncut version?
Yeah.
The uncut version is we had this great idea. We got some stuff. I need to email them again in order to get their fall A reflections. And so I need to think through how I want to piece them together. So that's my plan for today. Since we've switched our team meetings to bi-weekly, I have an extra hour on Sundays now, which is crazy. So after I'm done unpacking from my trip, I'm going to kind of do a little brainstorm session to think through how do we best tell these stories? How do we best stitch together? And I'm trying to think through, have other shows done this in a way that we could share and reapply what they've done if they've had a successful format. Because, I think what they've sent through has been really good. And so I want to do it justice.
Nice. And
awesome.
Listeners, I think at the end or somewhere in this episode, we will also put some 30-second pitches of all the club presidents and their clubs.
Yeah, I'm excited. Are we still thinking we'll do one episode of all the clubs together? Or maybe all the ones we've done so far? I feel like clubs are such an interesting thing. I remember back to We Launch. We were all just so eager to join all these clubs. And then I think you go through this exercise of like, shoot, a month or two into the semester, I haven't signed up for a club. Or this was at least my experience. And so I just signed up for a bunch of the clubs.
Yeah. Well, we are part of the Haas Podcast Club, even though it's not officially registered under campus groups.
Are we making it a club?
I don't think so. I think we're just gonna run rogue. We're gonna run rogue. We're gonna be the unofficial official club of Haas podcasts. Student run, no affiliation, but also some affiliation. And
We're still figuring it out as we speak, and we're not charging any club fees. So if anyone wants to join and help out.
You can join in 2021 when we accept our next cohort of applications.
Oh, that's true. A way to make it sound like we're picky. Yeah. Well, I will give an exception for Aravind's mom. If you're listening, feel free to hit us up. Gladly train you. We'll have Aravind train you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So.
If she hears that I'd be training her, she'd definitely sign up because then she'd have more time to talk to me.
Love it. All right. So, any parting words, Aravind, for your last episode? Last monthly musings.
Parting words are just personally really sad to be leaving and not being a part of this insanely fun crew and meeting every Sundays to have our long discussions on everything and anything.
So true.
Yeah. But also super excited to see what you guys are going to do and what the new incoming class is going to do and the upcoming classes are going to do. I'm going to be an avid listener and consumer of the podcast, and hopefully now I can leave a review because I'm not associated with it.
Oh, you better.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we're definitely going to miss you, Aravind, and thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it, and I learned so much from you guys that I'm sure I'm going to use in so many areas of my life.
All right. Well, been great potting with you guys, or with you, Aravind, and with you, of course, as well, Paulina. But,
Rude.
There'll be more to come, even if our next monthly meeting's not until next quarter. So, cool, guys.
Awesome.
Signing off.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
Good night.
This was banger.
Yes. Amazing.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Monthly Musings. If you enjoyed what you heard, please leave us a rating and review. For more Haas podcasts, check out our website at haaspodcasts.org. This episode was edited by Adam Ward, with special thanks to my co-hosts Paulina Lee and Aravind Mamidana, who will be missed. I'm Ray Guan, and we'll see you next time here at Haas.